All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Think back to your last annual performance review. You probably set these generic, totally unmeasurable goals in January that sounded, amazing on paper. But by mid-February, boom, completely forgotten, buried under a mountain of daily tasks. It's the standard failure point of talent development. We all want our teams to grow, but honestly, the traditional ways we try to upskill our workforce, they're practically designed to fail.
Just consider the difference between a rigid benchmark and a contextual learning goal. A rigid benchmark, like, say, learn cloud computing by Q3, just creates a checklist mentality. Teams get tunnel vision. But a contextual goal, something like test 3 retention approaches with at-risk segments, that forces constant attention on what actually works out there in the real world. Research shows that when we set contextual goals, the focus shifts to discovering effective strategies, not just mindlessly chasing a quota.
So, what does this all mean? How do we actually fix this talent development trap? Like, how can leaders systematically close these competency gaps without totally overwhelming their workforce or causing massive project burnout? Well, today we're walking through a highly structured, pragmatic blueprint to do exactly that. Let's get into it. Step 1, the skills matrix diagnosis. Look, to fix a system, you've got to measure it first, right? We need to start treating the team's capabilities like a dynamic, measurable system. And that begins with a proper diagnosis. To do this, you absolutely need to build a competency matrix. Map your acquired project capabilities directly against your team's current proficiencies. And use a strict 4-level rating system here: none, basic, advanced, and expert. When you visualize this as a heat map, suddenly, wow, the gaps are literally impossible to ignore. You can immediately see if your team is, say, super heavy on UI design, but completely lacking the advanced data modeling you need for your next launch. You instantly spot exactly where your project risks are hiding. And this heat map, it reveals your absolute biggest vulnerabilities, the single point of failure. In the project management world, we call this the bus factor. It's a critical skill held by only one person on the team. If they're out sick, or worse, leave the company entirely, your project is paralyzed. The matrix isolates exactly where these vulnerabilities are, showing you precisely where cross-team knowledge transfer absolutely must happen today. Moving on to step 2, the 70-20-10 development framework. Once you've identified the problem, it's time to implement the solution using a proven, data-driven methodology. This right here is the 70-20-10 learning model, originally developed by researchers at the Center for Creative Leadership. It breaks down like this: 70% of learning is experiential, 20% is social, and only 10% is formal coursework. The trap, and I see managers fall into this all the time, is relying purely on that 10%. Sending someone to a 3-day seminar and expecting them to come back an expert, that's exactly why most upskilling plans fail. The knowledge just doesn't stick without real context. So let's break it down practically for your team. That 70%, it must be on the job. Stretch assignments. Think having a junior developer lead a small feature rollout. The 20% is developmental peer mentoring, regular feedback, and collaboration. And that final 10% is the structured certifications or e-learning to build a baseline foundation. The takeaway here is that true competence is built through real-world application on the job, not just sitting in a classroom taking notes. All right, step 3, creating the accountability contract. So we've got the matrix, we have the 70-20-10 framework. Now we shift into the highly directive implementation phase, where those abstract goals finally become concrete, scheduled actions. You need to translate that 70-20-10 framework into a formal individual development plan, or IDP. Think of this as an accountability contract. It explicitly outlines specific action steps and establishes key performance indicators, or KPIs, that demand gradual, realistic growth from the employee. It's a real game changer for keeping everyone on track. Now, when you're structuring these milestones, there's a critical rule of thumb. Roughly 80% of these action steps must tie directly into the employee's current job assignments. This is crucial because it anchors their growth safely within their daily workflow. It ensures that their upskilling is actually pushing your current projects forward rather than just acting as a distraction from them. And here is the secret sauce to avoiding burnout. 2 hours. Seriously, that's it. You must set a strict weekly time budget. Strongly advise your team to dedicate just 2 hours per week to this structured growth. Doing this ensures that continuous development happens consistently, but without completely overwhelming their primary day-to-day responsibilities. To maintain that momentum, you need a really strict execution cadence. Week 1, you draft those contextual learning goals together. Month 1,
you hold your first milestone check-in to see what's working and what isn't. Month 3, you do a formal review to dynamically adapt the plan. Because, let's face it, without scheduled check-ins, that accountability contract just falls apart, and you're right back to those generic, abandoned annual goals we talked about at the beginning.
And hey, this isn't just about micromanaging. It's deeply anchored in organizational psychology. As researchers from Harvard Business School found in The Progress Principle, meaningful progress is actually the strongest motivator, not external tracking mechanisms. When employees feel they are making genuine headway on challenging, relevant skills, their motivation pretty much takes care of itself. To wrap this all up, investing in structured, metrics-driven growth isn't just some nice-to-have HR perk. It is a strategic imperative. By implementing this exact blueprint, you systematically eliminate project delivery risks and literally skyrocket your team's retention. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. If your absolute top performer walked out the door tomorrow, would your project survive or would the whole shebang come crashing down? Build your competency matrix today and find out for sure. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.